It's time for another edition of Mets Musings.
Hi, this is Ron Darling. This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the '69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. Hope you had a great week out there. And boy, our Mets are playing good as they are rolling into the All-Star break. Now there's 3 games left still. There's a doubleheader today and a single game against Pittsburgh tomorrow, weather permitting. And this has been a disaster week for the Mets, but they've managed to come through it. They took 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, and took 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee. Got rained out against Pittsburgh on Thursday. Beat Pittsburgh last night. Now they have 3 games left, doubleheader today. Hopefully they can get a split at least, take 3 out of 4. Be nice to get all 4, but if they get 3 out of 4 against Pittsburgh, that'll be okay in my estimation. Brandon Nimmo returned to the lineup. Wasted no time by going 3 for 6, and he's been getting 2-3 hits every game since he's been back. Helped the Mets beat the Yankees in the game 1 of that series. And then the Mets came back from a 1-run deficit in the 7th inning, exploded for 6 runs to take the Saturday or the Sunday game, the first game of the doubleheader, 10-5, and then lost the nightcap on ESPN to the Yankees. But again, 2 out of 3. Same thing happened against Milwaukee. They got rained out one day, took the first game. And then in the doubleheader, they took the first game and got beat in the nightcap. Took the first game quite an amazing way. They were down in the 9th and got a home run to tie it. Jose Peraza hit that and went on to win it with a Jeff McNeil single to bring it home at 4-3. So it's 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's got one of the best records in the National League, and also leads their division. So Mets beat them 2 out of 3 in a division matchup. So good job by the Mets this week, and as I said, they took the opener against the Pirates in a laugher, with Lindor hitting a grand slammer. Alonso hit a 3-run homer. Villar hitting one from both sides of the plate, righty and lefty. So Jonathan Villar back in the lineup. Struggled the first few days, and now is starting to come around, getting his timing and getting his hits. So he's been playing a little bit better, and he's splitting some time. Not exactly a 50-50 split, but Guillorme started a couple games, and he continues to hit and to produce and to play terrific defense. So those are all things that we're going to keep an eye on in the second half. The break is almost here. They'll be off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then come back with a 3-game series against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So 7 games with Pittsburgh, 4 before the break, 3 afterwards, and these, it's not nice to say, but these are the teams the Mets have to beat. They have to beat second division teams, the bad teams. You pile up when you have a chance to beat them, because then they go into their own division and There'll be a lot of division games ahead, and then they've even got a trip to the West Coast in August. So you want to pile up the victories against these lesser teams. And that's not saying anything nasty about them. Look, Pittsburgh will be the first to tell you they are in a rebuilding mode, and they're struggling, but they play tough. They do. I mean, their pitcher last night. I know if you look at the score, it doesn't look good, but boy, he pitched five and a half good innings of really tough. It was really a competitive game till the sixth when the Mets blew it open, and a lot of it was the Pittsburgh bullpen. I can't think of the lefty that came in, but he couldn't get anybody out. He walked like, I don't know, three guys or something, hit a guy, and it was just fun. It was a laugher for the Mets, and you know what? After winning so many games, coming from behind, winning 4-3 or 5-2 or something, they needed a laugher. They needed one. Let's hope today they can continue. They saved some offense and some runs for today's doubleheader and can go on. So as we record this, the Mets are 46-38, 4.5 games in front of the Atlanta Braves. And congratulations to Jacob deGrom, who's been named the NL Pitcher of the Month, his second award of the season. Across 5 starts for the Mets in June, deGrom went 3-0 with 40 strikeouts, just 4 walks, and a 0.67 ERA. He became the first Met to ever win the same award twice in one season. Both awards this season were the first 2 in his career. A shocking stat considering he's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Robert Stock was called up, pitched pretty well, pitched 4 2/3, gave up a couple of runs, but really didn't look too bad. But they optioned him through AAA Syracuse so that they could keep right-hander Nick Tropiano on the roster as a relief option or potentially as a starter if Jacob deGrom does not come back on short rest, and that could be this Sunday. Tomorrow, whether or not deGrom will pitch. They might throw him an inning. Maybe let him start the game, throw 2 innings, and then shut him down. But, we'll have to see how that works out. The Mets have claimed right-hander Jeff Hartlieb off waivers from the Pirates. Jason Mackey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reports. Pittsburgh designated the 27-year-old for assignment last weekend. He was a high prospect coming out of college where he was a starter, but has struggled as of late. But it's another arm the Mets can use, and really part of that is to shore up Syracuse, who has been, the Mets when the Mets get decimated by injuries, and Syracuse gets decimated by call-ups. So that's why that move was probably made at this point to bolster Syracuse. But we're going to do the injury report here, but we might be getting a lot of these guys that are going to start to trickle back in the second half. And now with this 5 days off, or when the 5-day offs occur, let's hope they get by the next day and a half or 2 days without any injuries. And when we move into the break and guys start to come back, and this could be a formidable team. And then, of course, the trade deadline comes up July 30th, and there's rumors about that. But we'll talk about that in a second after these words.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a PhD in life through baseball? Welcome to Baseball PhD, a tour company for your brain. 30 major league teams, 100 places to see. Let's touch them all as we make the road trip of a lifetime.
Follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/MetsMusings, on Twitter at MetsMusingsGM, and the Instagram is MetsMusings, and on. Okay, and we're back, and it's time to take a look at the injury report. Corey Oswalt has a right knee inflammation. He had fluid drained from his knee on July 5th, a day after his most recent outing. He could factor into the Mets' plans after the break if he recovers quickly, though whether he starts another game will depend upon multiple other factors. Sean Reed-Foley has right elbow inflammation. He was placed on the 10-day IL retroactive to July the 1st with right elbow inflammation on July 4th prior to the team's doubleheader against the Yankees. In 12 games this season, he is 2-1 with 5.23 ERA. Sean Reed-Foley on the DL. And in a corresponding move, the Mets recalled Yenzi Diaz from AAA Syracuse. No idea when Sean Reed-Foley will be back. Nassau, listen to me. I'm losing my mind. Noah Syndergaard, recovering from Tommy John surgery, was seen throwing a baseball at Yankee Stadium and been playing catch off flat ground for about a week. So they are looking at a September 1st return for the Syndergaard to make his appearance. So we could be getting close with Thor as things go on. David Peterson has a right oblique stain, and he could miss up to 8 weeks. But you know, it's one of those things that you have to wait and see. How quick is he healed? Is he healed? Is he a slow healer? Is he a start healer? He was originally placed on July, so that would take him August, September, probably mid-September. We wouldn't see him until. Could be helpful down the stretch, though, so let's keep that in mind. Don't rule out any of these guys unless, you know, it's something like we know, like Tommy John surgery, something like that. Carlos Carrasco, he was throwing a full side on July 3rd prior to the team's game against the Yankees. His fastball velocity was similar to where it is in the midseason. His next step after throwing sides is to start getting ready for rehab. He is due to today pitch a live batting practice, and if that goes well, they'll look to start him on a rehab assignment probably next week sometime. So if he throws today, he could probably go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday he can do a rehab assignment. And Luis Rojas said that he would not return before hitting the 6th-inning mark in his rehab process. So he could be a couple more weeks, but we could see him, I would say, more like August than late July, but you never know. J.D. Davis coming along. He is in a rehab assignment with Syracuse. He went 1 for 3 the other night, played 6 innings at first base, and singled to left in his final at-bat of the night. So he's coming along. He could be back after the break, which would be my guess. Jordan Yamamoto, nothing really is coming around there. Giselman on the 60-day list. He was shut down for 6 weeks due to a lat injury. We could see him in September. No idea with Tommy Hunter. Joey Lucchesi and Dylan Betances are out for the season. Lucchesi has Tommy John surgery, and Betances had shoulder surgery. So they are gone. That's what I meant earlier. Those are the guys we know we won't see the rest of this year. But we could see Carrasco in a couple of weeks, which would be a big boost to the pitching starting rotation as long as nobody else gets hurt in between. We could see J.D. Davis back at the spring, at the end of the break. He could be coming up. And though, to be honest with you, Guillorme and Villar have played so well at third. I know Davis is going to want to play, and you put him in there, but I guess you'll have to play him. Especially if you want to use him as trade bait, you got to show that he's healed and he can, hasn't lost a hitting stroke. But that's a tough call with those guys playing so well there. Yes, you want his offense, but you're going to give up the offense that you're getting. So I could see more of maybe a platoon of some sort with Villar and Davis, but we'll see what happens when he gets back. That's all you can expect, So, and then, of course, his name has come up in trade talks. Trade deadline is July 30th. So lots of guys' names coming up. One name comes up particularly a lot is Zapuki. And one deal, this was suggested by Jim Duquette, as the Cubs have decided to be sellers, and the Mets have been trying to get Chris Bryant. If you remember, there was an effort before the season started, and perhaps they'll continue that effort now. And Jim Duquette suggested Zapuki and gosh darn, I'd have to look it up. I don't remember. And another prospect for Chris Bryant. Now, what he suggested, I'm not sure it would get it done. The only reason it might work is because of the fact that Chris Bryant is a free agent, so he's essentially a rental for the Mets, unless, of course, they can sign him. And I'm sure that they would do everything in their power to sign him. Chris Bryant is having a bounce-back year. He's cooled off a little from the red-hot start that he had, but still, he is pitching. He is playing well. He's hitting pretty well. Had a 3-run double, I think, last night. So he's coming through, and he's played five positions this year so far. So he's versatile enough. But I think if he were to come to the Mets best choice would be to leave him in at third base and try to figure something else out. Look, you could always try to move Alonso and move Smith the third and have him play left, have Bryant in left. But there's a lot of configurations that would go into it, and it doesn't necessarily make them a better team. I cannot find that post right now. Boy, I wish I could remember it. But it was Zapuki, and I think it's going to take more. I think it's going to take probably Zapuki, probably J.D. Davis. I would even say Maurizio. And look, I know. I'm not a big fan of trading your top draft picks or your top prospects. However, in this case, You just signed Lindor to a 10-year contract. There is really going to be no place for Mauricio to play other than he's a big kid. So they're either going to move him to the outfield or they're going to move him to third base. So if you're going to do that, if you can get a guy like Chris Bryant and throw a Mauricio in, I think you do it. I think you make the deal if that's what it's going to take. Now, again, it may not take that big a deal because of, you know, because he is a rental. You may not have to give up as much, but I don't know. Chris Bryant's a good player, and he's a big game, and I think it's going to take. I think it's gonna take more than that. And don't forget the Cubbies have Craig Kimbrell. I could see a big blockbuster going on here between the Mets and the Cubbies, which would be fascinating. You know, we don't see a lot of these old-fashioned blockbusters anymore, but I could see a big one. Kyle Hendricks might be available also as a starter, so I don't know what the heck you'd have to give up to get. You'd have to give up maybe Vientos, Maurizio. You might have to give up Alvarez to get those three guys, to get Bryant and Kimbrel and Hendricks. But wouldn't that would be some deal. Wow. That would be a great deal to make. That would be just awesome. Make a big blockbuster deal like that, you know? So, but we'll see what happens as we get closer to the trading deadline, July the 30th. Lots of rumors and lots of more rumors to come. All right, let's take a break and be back after this. 516-619-6341. That is our voicemail comment hotline. If you have a question, want to leave a comment, make a statement, anything at all, that's the number to call. 516-619-6341. Or go to our website, MetsMusings.com, and click on the widget in the middle of the screen. That's a speak pipe. And you click the record button, and you can record right through your computer's microphone. Or you can send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, it's Facebook is facebook.com/MetsMusings. Twitter is @MetsMusingsGM. Instagram is MetsMusings. And YouTube is MetsMusings Mack. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you watch or listen to the podcast. Okay, and we're back, and now it's time to go down on the farm. And on the farm this week, Mark Vientos continues to hit his hot hitting. He continues, and he's been playing a lot of left field lately. Very interesting that the Mets and the Syracuse team has decided to try him out in left field. Justin Lasco has been one of the most reliable starters in the Cyclones rotation. This week, the 24-year-old threw 6 scoreless innings, only allowing 4 hits and striking out 5. Brooklyn's home run leader, Luke Ritter, padded his total against the Ironbirds this week while boosting his average by a good margin in the process. In the 5 games he played in, Ritter /438/471/688 with an OPS of 1.158 and 5 RBIs. The 22-year-old JT Ginn, who we've talked about a couple of times here, went out this week and pitched one of the best games in his short minor league baseball career. In 5 2/3 innings of work, Ginn only allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, striking out 4 batters in the process. So, JT Ginn is starting to come around now that he finally gets to pitch in the minors. And that's just a quick report on some of the top prospects in the Mets system and how they're doing. As far as the farm teams are going, they all continue to struggle. It's been not a great first half for the farm system, as Syracuse is 17-39, and they're 20 games back in last place in their division, the Triple-A. Binghamton Double-A, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, 21-35. They're 15.5 game back in 5th place of their division. The Brooklyn Cyclones are the High A Mets affiliate, and they are 18-37, 18.5 games back and in last place. And the bright spot in the Mets farm system right now is the St. Lucie Mets, who are 30-28, and they are 3 games up in first place in their division. So kudos to the St. Lucie Mets for having a winning record and holding first place. MLB draft is this week coming up, the 11th to the 13th, and the Mets are picking 10th, I believe, in the first round. And in the MLB mock draft, they have the Mets picking an outfielder, Sal Frelick, and an outfielder from Boston College. So don't know much about Mr. Frelick, but that's what the mock draft has. It's 3 outfielders, all college kids that have been rotating, you might say, at that Mets pick. I saw another mock draft that had another kid called Carlson, I think his name was, as the pick. This one has Frelick. So it looks like the Mets are looking in that direction for an outfielder in the first round of the MLB draft. So, but that'll be Monday. We'll keep an eye on that and report back to you next week. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I want to thank you for listening and watching. And don't forget that it helps to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, CastBox, YouTube, wherever you watch or listen to the podcast. Yes, we do an audio. We also do a video on YouTube. And last week, I have to apologize, we had a slight error with the breaks. There was dead air time, and as I look at my software, we're having the same problem this week, but we'll correct that in post-production, so you will hear all the excitement. But I want to apologize for that while I remember about it. So I will do that, and if you will, on your part, hit the subscribe button. It helps me grow the community and expand to new listeners. And we want to increase our audience. You never want to decrease, you want to increase. And so that's what we want to do. So remember, until the next time, keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets. And I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.